I want to share something that my wife, who recently passed away, was trying to get across to every person that she could meet. Our 13-year-old son caught a cold and was given some medicine that caused a stroke and led to irreversible heart damage. The day before he passed away, he was on the couch waiting on Miss Margaret Smith with Stay Home Home Health that operates here in Mississippi. Adam, after she left, he said, "I need to talk with you and Mom, away from my brothers." He said, when we met that evening, we met at the kitchen table, he said, "I had a vision." He said, "Jesus Christ walked up to me and he told me when it's my time to go to heaven, that he's going to reach out his arm and I'm supposed to reach my arm out, take his hand, and that's how I'll go." He had that vision when he was waiting on Miss Margaret. Well, I figured 6 months to a year. I knew his heart was deteriorating. But 24 hours later, I had a business. I had a sofa chair, and he was sitting in it looking out the door, and his brother was behind the counter. And at 1:15, 24 hours later, he turned to his brother. He said, "I love you, TJ." TJ said, "I love you." And he took that left side that he'd had the stroke with, that he couldn't move, and he reached up and grabbed a hand. TJ yelled for me, and I come running, and he just sloped down into my chest. He was gone. I felt him healed, but it wasn't his eternal healing. I felt what perfect wholeness is, what perfection is. I felt the atmosphere was so holy, and he was healed, but it was his eternal healing. I felt he could get up and just walk right off, but he headed home. And his testimony was Jesus Christ took his hand and he went to heaven, and he walked that out. There's no gratification of anything in this life that was a grain of sand in comparison to that atmosphere. I wanted to share that with you. I want to share that with everybody, because that was a 13-year-old boy that was untainted, no agendas, no strings attached. He loved people. He wouldn't let anybody say anything bad about anybody. When he was little, he'd go over to the daycare. His mother was a volunteer domestic violence shelter, and he was too young to write, but he would take the young children in there, and he'd put their little feet on a piece of paper, and he'd take his crayons and he'd draw an outline of their feet. Then he'd run to his mom. "I need shoes for Devin. I need shoes for Dylan." He'd go home and he'd go through his toys, and he wouldn't look for his old toys, ones he was tired with. He looked for his best, because he believed that they deserved the best. He wrote his own funeral. A church donated a computer, and he wrote it out. And he wrote about how we don't know each other. We don't know our neighbors. And he said simple things like his favorite color, his favorite singer. And at the time, Britney Spears was real popular, and just different simple things. And I remember the minister that we got after the cemetery services, and I walked over to him. I was having to take my wife to the hospital, and he said, "Sir, you don't realize," he said, "I'm a minister, but I'm also a teacher, and I teach this young man's grade, this age of students." And he said, "This has changed my life." I don't know exactly what he meant, but he said that he'd gotten more out of that than he could ever explain. And I hope that you've gotten something out of this. I hope you'll take it in your heart. Jesus Christ loves you. You have a good day. Bye-bye.